to the late Welcome to the latest installment of the Run to Daylight podcast. I'm your host, Todd Burrows. You can find me at Best Ball NFL on Twitter. I also go by Todd from PA for many years. Joined today by Jared Smola. I can't see it right now. I know there's like two letters after it, but we'll get to Jared in a second. He can tell you where you can find. Oh, it's right there, DS. So we're going to be doing and partnering on an FFPC 125. This, I think, is my 86th draft. So I'm heading towards my goal of 100. There are only about 15. I'm at 17% left in the draft. We're going to take Christian McCaffrey here. We got the 1-1. I think that's a no-brainer. And I just want to thank our friends at the FFPC for coming up with such a great tournament. I love the fact that 2 teams from every league advance, and then you're in a 12-team league for 3 straight weeks where 3 teams advance. So to me, Jared, it brings up different strategy than what you find on Underdog. Would you agree?
Yes. I guess specifically in that final week, because in Underdog, you have to beat out a whole bunch of teams to win the grand prize.
160.
160. Or in FFPC, you only have to win your 12-team league. So it's less important to have those monster weeks here, right? You just have to be in the top 15% or whatever it is for 4 consecutive weeks in the final weeks to win it all. So yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah, over on Underdog. I mean, look, I like Underdog too. I'm playing over there, but there, it's 18. It's a 3-week playoff, 18, 18, and 160. So it really is a pretty big difference. And I feel like for a long-term guy like myself who's been playing best ball for a while, a lot of the core philosophies of roster construction, exposure, things like that fit a lot more with this tournament, because if you have a rock solid team, you're taking value when it falls to you, you're mixing exposure, and you've got enough at each position. I see a lot of people, Jared, who are still kind of galaxy braining this tournament, doing a lot of zero running back, doing a lot of hyper fragile builds, and doing them wrong. Frankly, I've done podcasts where I show that people aren't even doing their boutique strategy the way it's supposed to be done. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the boutique strategy if that's the way the draft falls to you.
Sure.
But the way that in general, I'm just looking to have a good, solid, maybe 2-5-9-2, and roster construction, but always being willing to take a third quarterback, a third tight end, because if that's the weakest part of my team. Does that kind of align with your thoughts on this?
For sure. I think, if you reach for anything, you're killing any potential value you were getting in that. So what I mean is, like, if you're reaching to go zero running back, you're crushing the value you're gaining by doing that strategy. If you're reaching to create a stack, you're killing your value because someone else has that stack at a better price. And you have to beat that team in the end.
I had a guy today. I got CEH at 211, and I missed that Nick Chubb was there too. I had taken Kels at the 2-2 because I was 16% Dalvin and 4% Kelsey, and I felt like that was too big of a disparity in ownership for expected end result. And this guy went Lamb at 2-9. Amari early in the 3rd, and then Dak in the 5th, and he was crowing about what a great stack he had, and I was like, "Yeah, great stack. Thank you for the value that dropped to me by you taking that stack."
See, that's what I'm saying. Someone else in this tournament, or if that was Underdog in that tournament, someone else has that stack at a better value where they didn't have to spend those picks on those guys. They were able to get them a round or two later, and you're already playing catch up versus that team.
Yeah, this is a pretty good room that we're in. Do me favors. I know does work with 1 week season. I know that there's a pro or two in here. So nothing too surprising in the first round. Kelsey did go number 2, which I'm sure Gerald, who is a sicko, by the way, if you know him, he got Dalvin Cook at 3, Derrick Henry at 4, Zeke at 5, Kamara at 6, Devontae at 7, Eckler at 8, Waller at 9, Aaron Jones at 10, Tyreek at 11, Diggs at 12, came back with Barkley. We do look like we have a 0 running back candidate here with Hill and Ridley out of the 11. Jonathan Taylor and Antonio Gibson. In general, no reaches so far.
Nope, I don't see anything that looks too crazy. Yeah, pretty standard first round here, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I've put in to the queue, and we're not going to show the queue, but I've put into the queue the people that we talked about. Oh, I had forgot one, and that now we've got enough. The way I work it is I put enough names in to make sure that we're going to have enough guys to choose from.
Yep.
Why don't you take a quick look at the queue and see if there's anyone that I missed that you might want to consider?
No, it looks good to me. And I was telling you this before we started, but I've done about 25 drafts so far on either Underdog or FFPC. This is the first time I've gotten the 1 pick out of those 25 drafts. So kind of exciting. It seems like when people draw the 1, the most popular build is to take McCaffrey and then kind of just ignore running back for the next 5, 6, 7 rounds and kind of rely on McCaffrey as your anchor. So I wouldn't mind getting different there and maybe taking at least 1 running back at this turn, assuming there's someone there we like, of course. And we're a few picks away still. I was hoping for Mixon. That was probably a pipe dream, though. He rarely gets to the 2-3 turn.
He gets to the 2-11. I don't see him at the 2-12 too much. Yeah. And there goes CEH.
Yeah, your boy.
So we haven't seen anyone reach for CeeDee Lamb yet.
Up next.
And that's typically where there goes Najee. That's who I was hoping would fall.
Yep.
So really, there's no running backs left that typically go there. DK Metcalf just went. So you and I talked about maybe taking DeAndre Swift here.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to take AJ Brown as one of our picks, but I'm open to Justin Jefferson or. I like DeAndre more than most. I'm not too concerned about the groin. I really think that people are underestimating DeAndre Swift, and I'm kind of falling back to even weight on him. So is there anyone do you agree that A.J. Brown should be the first pick?
Yep, I'm good with A.J. Brown. And I do think that the second pick comes down to Swift versus Jefferson. I'm actually staring at my Draftsharks draft war room here for this league, and it actually is recommending DeAndre Swift after we took A.J. Brown. And again, I just think it's a bit different. I've seen a ton of McCaffrey, Brown, Jefferson starts. And yeah, I like
I'm
Swift.
good with it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So while I start filling up the queue for the next 2 picks,
yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've worked with Draftsharks, and when did you start shaving? Because you don't look very old.
I know. I'm actually, what am I? I'm 33 now. I forget how old I am.
Oh my gosh.
I'm definitely older than I look. Yeah, I still get ID'd every once in a while. But yeah, I'm with Draftsharks.com. I've been there. I started working there when I was still in college. My sophomore year of college, I started working there part-time, and my senior year, I was hired full-time. So that was a tough year trying to finish school and also be full-time in this. But I kept that job out of school, and I've been doing it ever since. So I've been with Draftsharks for I think it's like 12 or 13 years now.
It's funny. Back in the old days, when I used to do simulation football, I always had a shark as my aim, picture.
Yep.
And when I would come on to trade, and in those days, everyone talked trade on AIM. it was like, oh my gosh, it's the shark. It's, because I was really good at trading back then. It was a different kind of hobby though.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, so I got 14 names. I got to put 2 more. I got to put the 2 tight ends in. That gets us to Fant. Yeah. Yes, Andrews just went. No.
And so now that we have McCaffrey and Swift, now I'm good. Pretty much ignoring running back for.
Yeah, what I do when I fill up a queue,
mm-hmm.
I put in the guys that I think are the best. Right? It's not about position necessarily. In fact, I need to throw in Josh Allen.
I was going to ask about quarterback. Are you open to that?
Yeah.
4 or 5 turn. It's a little early for me, but
not without a stack.
Yep.
Not without a stack.
I have been taking one of those top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in a lot of these drafts because it's only 18 rounds. I do not want to burn 3 roster spots on quarterbacks. And when I get one of those elite guys, I'm totally comfortable just taking 2 quarterbacks. So,
well, let's see. Why don't let's see? I want to go. We need a couple more guys. What do you think about Julio, Jamar Chase, Higgins, or any of those guys that you would take at the turn? I'm like on the fence about those guys.
Julio for sure. He's my favorite among those 2. I actually prefer T. Higgins to Jamar Chase. And that was even before the slow start for Jamar Chase report that we got recently. I'm
just spoiled. Yeah. I was getting Higgins in the 6th and the 7th when this tournament started. I was over 20% at one point.
Well, I haven't seen any ADP trends, but it sure seems like wide receivers in general have started going higher in these things, especially on Underdog. In the last week,
on Underdog, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's even been recently. It was wide receiver heavy to start, but I feel like it's getting more wide receiver heavy. So I think I'm not sure Higgins has climbed in wide receiver ADP as much as it's just all the wide receivers are climbing.
All right, so the queue is good. We've got enough people to get through. Why don't you take a moment, go through the queue, and see if there's anyone I missed?
There's a few guys in here that I'd really like to get to us, and then we're 8 picks away here.
Yep.
No, it looks good to me.
Because
this feels a bit early for quarterback to me though, and I know we gotta wait all the way till.
It is, and there's some really good options that you can take early,
yep.
in the 7th, and a couple good ones that sometimes make it to the 9th. I agree with you. I hate to take 3, but I also hate to take one earlier. My strategy for quarterback is take the top guys when they slip half a round.
Yep.
Or unless I'm stacking, right? If I'm stacking, like I just did this draft where I took Kyler Murray at 5.5, I think it was, but I had Hopkins at in the 2nd round, right? It was 5.7. I got Kyler. So if I have the stack, I'm okay with taking them at value. Other than that, I'm building ownership with value. And I'm not afraid to take Stafford or Brady. I think Brady goes too low.
Brady is my highest owned quarterback right now. I'm totally with you there. And I love that. You can either stack him after getting Evans or Godwin, or sometimes you can take Brady and then Antonio Brown's still sitting there. So I just like that there's all those stacking partners for Brady. And I agree. I just think even in a vacuum, he's undervalued right now.
Yeah, if Josh Allen makes it to us, I think that's something to consider.
Yeah,
because you don't need Diggs to stack.
Sure.
Allen's got such big rushing upside.
The guy that's 3rd in our queue now.
You're up next.
He just went. Godwin was a guy I definitely would have taken if he'd made it.
Oh my gosh, I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, and I probably jinxed it by even mentioning him. But those 2 other receivers.
Go ahead.
Those 2 other receivers we talked about are still sitting there. So we'll get one of them. Are you how do you feel about taking another running back here? Because I do think those two guys you have queued up are nice.
If Miles Sanders makes it, I don't see how you pass.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. I mean, I think 5th round value is kind of his floor, and then if he does pick up more passing game work than a lot of people are expecting, I think he crushes this price. So
now you are on the clock.
I like that, and he made it to us. Okay,
and he made us. All right, so Ayuk went. All right, so I think Sanders is a no-brainer, but we might as well take the full 2 minutes talking about, like Josh Allen right now. He goes, he goes right around here, so he's no great value. I
so
think that. Go ahead.
So I have Kyler Murray as my number 2 quarterback. I actually prefer him straight up to Josh Allen.
All right, let's not take Josh Allen. Let's take Sanders and a wide receiver.
Now you are on the clock.
I think it's dangerous because we have CMC and AJ Brown already with a Week 13 bye. But I think the Julio AJ Brown combination, and there's a chance we can get Tannehill later. One thing about me though, I don't care if if you think you're sniping me by taking my quarterback in a stack, I don't care because I've got a stack and then I can make another stack with a quarterback. So I think Julio's the choice for me.
So you like having both Titans receivers?
I think where we got them at the beginning of the 3rd and the beginning of the 5th, I think that's good value. Now, if you want to go T. Higgins, I'm okay with it.
15 seconds left.
Let's go Julio. Let's go Julio. Let's do it.
All right, and that would be a good time to go and look at the Week 17 correlation. I should know this, but I forget some teams, and the Titans are always one of them. It's just something to keep in mind as we move forward. So they play the Dolphins going that last week.
There's a lot of cheap receivers we can target there.
Yeah, so basically, if we don't get Tannehill, we can still take advantage of that stack with a but I have a feeling the fact that none of these quarterbacks have gone yet, we might end up getting.
So we'd be targeting Tannehill at the 8-9, right?
Yes.
Not at the 6-7 here.
No.
Yep. Okay, yeah. Then I think, and if we don't get Tannehill, I like Tua as a quarterback too.
I do as well.
So that could work. That's another option.
You can't go wrong with him.
Yep.
There was a pun in there somewhere, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, I thought he looked good on a Saturday afternoon there. There goes T. Higgins.
Well,
the other receiver there.
I got 23 names in, so we're good. Why don't you go through and see if there's anyone that I missed?
Yep.
A couple guys that I didn't put in. I didn't put in Kenny Golladay. He wasn't doing well even before he got hurt. Yep. I didn't put in Debo or Mike Williams. I think they're next tier. I did put in Myles Gaskin, but everyone's freaking out that what's his name played ahead of him yesterday.
Yeah, I'm just not going to draft Gaskin for now. I'm worried.
Yeah, let's take him out, especially since we've got. I think at this point with 3 running backs that we really love,
yes,
one of them being CMC, the only way we take a running back is if it's stupid value. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm going to add a couple more wide receivers in just so we have that next tier. I think Debo and Mike Williams I would feel good about there.
Yep, I like both those guys.
Right.
So, I mean, this team now with McCaffrey, Swift, and Sanders, I'd be open to just taking 4 running backs here.
Yeah, if a value comes up.
Yep.
That's one of the things I had Justin Herzig on who talked about the hyperfragile 4. And, basically you see people doing it wrong all the time. You see people with 4, but one's in the 10th round, one's in the 18th. Oh, I did hyperfragile. No, you didn't. You built an atrocious team.
Yeah, you're screwed.
I think with CMC, we could go a little later with the 4th guy. Then again, with this is what I love about the FFPC. I don't feel the need to get dogmatic, because if a running back in round 16, the 5th running back is the best value on the board, you get the protection of the 5th running back, plus he can be one of your 2 flexes each week. So I find that people, I just don't like dropping tiers, even for positions late in these drafts.
Totally with you there, and that's a big difference between these FFPC drafts and the underdog drafts. Obviously, with the one flex spot. Not to get too much into underdog here, but I feel like a lot of people draft on there not realizing it's half PPR, and that's kind of another reason I feel like the wide receivers are going too high on underdog.
I feel like. Say what you just said again. I got tweeted at it. Just kind of. Oh, underdog, I remember.
Is half PPR.
I made a tweet the other day that Austin Eckler goes 10th in FFPC and 12th in underdog, and Nick Chubb goes 15th in underdog and 17th in FFPC, and I don't think that's enough of a difference to account for the half PPR. I mean, I'll take Nick Chubb ahead of Austin Eckler at the end of the first round of an underdog draft almost every time. Vice versa, I don't mind waiting a little longer to take Nick Chubb than 17th because he's not much of a pass catcher on the FFPC.
Yes, I have Chubb ranked ahead of Eckler in half PPR, and in full PPR they're in like different tiers. Like I have Eckler a full tier ahead of Chubb, so I'm totally with you there.
I do too. Exactly.
Yep.
But the point is, my main point was, Eckler dropping 2 spots, going from half PPR to full PPR. I got him dropping like 8 spots.
Yep. You're
10
right.
spots.
Yep.
We got a 2 quarterback. I never get Eckler on the FF on underdog.
Yeah.
But I have like 16% in the FFPC. I'm willing to take him as high as 5th.
Yeah, I have a lot more Chubb than Eckler on FFP or on underdog, and a lot more Eckler on FFPC.
All right, so we're going to get a couple really good players here.
Yeah, I'm excited. Team 7 took his second quarterback there. He's got Allen and Lamar. So
that's what I mean about.
All right. Well, there goes all the upper tier quarterbacks, unless you like Herbert.
Without the stack. Not without the stack. Not here.
Yeah, I was gonna say 6-7 turns a bit high,
especially with so many guys I really like here.
Yep, I wanted Judy.
See, I'm not as crazy about him.
No.
I've got him below about 4 guys that are still there, including Portland Sutton.
Okay, you like Sutton better than Judy?
I do.
Now you are on the clock.
And it looks like, I wanted Odell.
All right, well, the issue here is I love Robbie Anderson, but he's another bye week 13.
Well, I mean,
we're gonna have what? We're gonna have 8 receivers on this team.
Yeah, but still, I think it's close enough. I like Antonio Brown here. I'm okay with Juju or LaVisca or Sutton as well. I think Antonio Brown opens up Brady for us coming back.
So we might be going Brady, Tannehill with both those picks.
Well, no. I would only take one, but it gives us 2 shots to get one of them.
Got it. Gotcha. Okay.
15 seconds left.
Yeah. Go ahead and take Brown.
All right. And
now you are on the clock.
Who do you want with the other pick? If you want Robbie, I'll take Robbie. If
Yeah,
I
so-
like Robbie a
so-
lot.
Right. So I have Anderson projected for 18 more points than the next receiver, who is Cortland Sutton. So for me, if it's not Robbie, it's Sutton. So if you want to pick between those two, I'm happy with either of those
Well,
two.
18 points is only 1 point a week.
Yep.
So let's go Sutton. I think the bye week, if it was double that, I would consider it differently.
Okay, let's take Sutton. I like it.
All right.
I feel good about our receivers.
Yeah, well, and now, we can feel very confident about winning the flex. We've got 3 running backs and 4 wide receivers. I feel very, very confident there. Let me start filling in the queue. And I'm okay not getting a quarterback at the next turn. I mean, if it happens, it happens. There's and I don't mind taking a third, especially with the CMC team where, we could stop running back wise.
Yep. Now, I mean, I would say I'm probably going to want 3 tight ends on this team. And I definitely don't like taking 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends.
No, I don't either.
Right. I mean, to me, I think we're hoping Brady or Tannehill makes it to our next turn.
Right, except we're podcasting and people in this draft are listening. I can tell you.
Okay.
All right. Well, Tunyon just went 7-4. You know what? I didn't see Fant. Oh man, we should have taken Fant. Ugh.
Oh yeah. I mean, to me, I have Fant in the same tier as Goddard and Higbee. So I mean,
I do too. But all right.
Yeah.
So let's see. I've got 17 names.
That's early for Robert Tunyon there.
We need a couple more names.
Do you have rankings or tiers or anything that you have in front of you? Or are you just kind of queuing up going on feel?
It's not, I wouldn't call it feel. I would call it, I know ADP and these things like the back of my hand.
Yep.
And I have tiers in my head. How's that?
Works for me.
I just don't I just don't put numbers to it.
Gotcha.
But I check numbers that people like you have.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a pretty projections heavy drafter. But,
I am when it comes to DFS.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more optimizer and but again, I a couple times that I have a partner Billy Musio, who does them. So I get to see what he projects. I get to, I check out what sites have for projections, but I go by tiers because, to me, a tier is 35 points, right? Over the course of a season, up to 35 points is 2 points a week, right? So for 2 points a week, I'm going to consider exposure and the chance of injury. So, I'm going to consider buys. I'm going to consider stacking. I'm going to consider, week 17 correlations. There's a ton of stuff. And my tiers are based on projections, but I just don't keep them in front of me.
And then you said you're not going to reach to a different tier to create a stack. Is that
never? Right? Not early. Once you get past like the 12th round, 10th, 12th round, I will, because the tiers, it's a different animal.
Well, I just think ADP matters less the deeper you get. I mean, I just think it's less reliable for Spurs. I mean, you see guys reaching.
That's the point I was making. But also, even then, if I have a guy in a tier below, typically it's not worth. Like you said early, what you gain by the stack, you're giving up with the projection. So I don't. When you consider what you get out of the exception to that rule is home run hitting wide receivers late, because when you put them with a quarterback, that can actually put a lot of points up for you on the week when those guys hit.
Sure.
I mean, Hollywood Brown's going in the 12th round now, but he's not a guy I'd have to drop a tier for. Here, let me look for a guy who I would consider.
So Brady's out for it.
Like a couple weeks ago. What's that?
I was kind of talking out loud here. Yeah, Brady's out.
Brady's gone. Yeah, he's been going earlier and earlier.
I mean, I think that's about where he should be going.
I agree. I think he was the biggest value on the board in the 9th round.
Me too.
One of the best values, period.
Yep.
But again, the value of like if you look at Stafford just went. If you look at Stafford versus Tannehill, or if we wait a round or two and get Jalen Hurts, I just think that it's, the quarterbacks are going early on this one.
Yeah, they are. So the Stafford team has Woods and Kupp, but that team also took Kyler Murray in the 5th. So I know. And
that's the guy who replaced. That's the guy who got the gig I wanted at 1 week season for best ball. Okay. So,
I mean, two quarterbacks in the first 8 rounds. I can't get down with that.
Well, I'm sure there's a galaxy brain answer as to why. I'm sure he'll tell me. He's probably listening.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. I was kind of mean to him the other day. I feel there goes Tannehill.
Shit. Is this a super flex draft we're in? What's going on?
No, but don't worry about it.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. There's 3
because
teams,
it means that like Michael Thomas going, all these quarterbacks going. Now we've got 4 names in our queue, and I like all of them better, than anyone. I like them all better than anyone but Brady.
I'm with you there.
You are up next.
So you still wouldn't consider Galladay here?
Galladay's gone. He was in the queue. He's gone.
Right, he is gone. I missed him. Okay, the other guy I was going to ask about is DJ Chark.
Yeah, we can add him.
All right, I mean, I feel like we're kind of. You
are on the clock.
Oh fuck, that was the guy that I wanted. Yeah.
I like
but I think Mike Williams is a no-brainer here.
I don't mind going wide receiver here. What do you think? So I mean, tight ends. I got Mike Gesicki, Jonnu Smith, Evan Ingram. I'm not,
No, I think Mike Williams.
Now you are on the clock.
Mean, I've got 20% Mecole Hardman. I think he's, part of that offense, especially as the 6th receiver. I think he's pretty intense. I wouldn't mind reaching for Jalen Hurts here if you want. We got Miles Sanders, and he, it's early for him. But Hardman I like. I'm just bummed about Irv Smith.
Yeah, there's 3 teams that don't have a quarterback still. So I mean, I don't think Hurts is going to get back to us. So if you do want him,
I mean, it's up to you. I'm good with Hardman. I mean, I don't love Hardman or Shark that much. I don't think we need wide receiver on this team.
15 seconds.
I think Hurts is it's a little early for him, but.
Let's take Hurts. Let's take him. We got our 5 wideouts, so we're rolling there. Okay.
Yeah, there's no stack, but you don't need to stack a running quarterback.
I was gonna say, yeah, Hurts is not a quarterback. I need to stack. And even if we want to stack him, there are still some options out there we can get to. Okay, so I think this is definitely a 3 tight end team.
Looking that way. There's still 2 that I would feel comfortable with, but whether we'll get them next time.
Yep.
Jonnu had the injury.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep. Sounds like it's not super serious, but. Okay, so Hurts.
Curtis Samuel made it off
Swift.
pup.
Yep. Yeah, he's been dropping. I was kind of iffy on him to begin with, and then I've kind of gotten off him with the injury. Man, because he was out for 3 months with the groin. It was a while.
Who's that?
He was Curtis Samuel. He was sidelined in June with that.
Yeah, no, I haven't drafted him in a while. Check the private chat. I'm going to come in and give you a couple names.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a couple names. You got 15 people watching. That's pretty good.
Nice.
Probably everyone in the draft.
I mean, I'd be watching if I was drafting. So Hardman went right behind us.
So I just sent you 2 names.
Yep.
If we got those 2, I'd be comfortable sticking with 2.
Okay. Yeah. So would I.
And then I'll also throw in these 2 names. That I don't think will make it. And then again, what I like to do is I like to get to the point where I don't have to take a third, but often I find myself taking a third because, again, if I end up with 8 wide receivers, I only need 2 a week. That third tight end can also fill the flex. So if it's a toss-up, I don't get dogmatic, and I'll take the third.
Yeah, and for me, a lot of times in the 16th, 17th, 18th round of these, I actually like the tight ends better than the available wide receivers. Yeah, I mean, you got tight ends that are going to see 60, 70 targets sometimes still sitting there in the 16th, 17th round. So
yeah, here I'll throw you a name.
Well,
in the private chat.
I'm still tilting that the Russell Wilson drafter took Tannehill.
I think that was just to spite us. Probably someone listening and
no, they just threw away $125 to spite us.
Yeah,
but if that's what they wanted to do.
I honestly, it's very. I'm more hurt by the Irv Smith thing because I really think I am. I'm really high on him, and we ended up reaching for Hurts where Smith wouldn't have been a reach, and it would have covered one of the 2 positions we needed to fill. So, but somebody taking, a second quarterback in the 8th round. I mean. I'm going to trust that I can build a good enough roster. Sure. And one of the big things, quarterbacks are going 2 to 3 rounds early on the FFPC than they did in years past. The opportunity cost of taking too early now is really high.
Yep.
Because you're only going to get 1 useful week out of those 2 guys.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, now I've got a bunch of people who can fill my flex and and I'll still probably be close to you at quarterback when this is all said and done. Yep. Hurts, and if we get this guy who is at the top of our queue, I wouldn't mind putting number 1 with number 8 if it makes it back to us in our queue.
I like 8. I like the guy at 5 now, a lot better.
Yeah, and but then, if we can get one, and he's at 7 now.
Yep, yeah, I see who you're looking at.
But I think that I think we might have to go tight end here, if the 2 that I told you make it. Well, at least one of them. I think just one. Yeah,
I was saying I'm good with 1.
Yeah, I think the guy who's number 8 right now. Well, 7.
No, 7.
You know what? If 7 and 8 are both there, I think we might have to. Wow, Everett just went.
Wow,
was that the guy who had Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
he
he's
has
he
Lockett.
needed Everett. He needed Everett in the 10th to go with Lockett in the 4th and Russ in the 6th.
Well, I mean, Lockett in the 4th and Russ in the 6th is fine. Everett in the 10th.
You are up
Yeah,
next.
it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But now he's got 2 tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen worse reaches, but I think it's at least around before Everett should be going. Okay, so I definitely like 6 if we don't get sniped here. I'm surprised they still.
And we can't go 6 and
Now you are on the clock.
we can't go 6. We can't go 6 and 7.
Same bye week or
Yeah.
yeah, same bye. Okay, well I'm fine. I'm fine just taking Mike Gesicki.
All right.
And then
I don't have much, but
neither do I. But I mean, we're getting him as tight end 15.
All right. Let me look when he normally goes. So he normally goes at the end of the 9th, and we're up at the end of the 10th. So it's a 1-round value.
I like it. He also gives us the little game stack with the Titans in week 17.
You're right. Okay.
Dolphins,
so I like that one.
You are on the clock.
Yep.
And
so
I kind of like Trevor Lawrence here.
I really like Elijah Moore. He's kind of my guy.
All right. I'm okay with it.
And I think there's enough. We'll be able to get a.
Yeah, I mean he's not going to be out that long, and he was starting to go in single digits before the injury. So I'll take the discount.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean wide receiver 51. I think he was like in the early 40s, wasn't he, before the injury?
He was like I said, he was going at the end of the 9th, beginning of the 10th, and we got him at the beginning of the 11th. So it's a round and a half value about.
Works for me.
For someone who tweaked the groin.
He's our 6th wide receiver too. So I mean we don't need him right out of the gate.
No.
Okay.
And overall, I like to keep track of the week 14 buys. I'm not afraid of them.
Yep.
But we've got Hurts and Gesicki now, and Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
So that's not ideal.
I'd say we probably avoid any more week 14 guys.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like I would be willing to put another, one of Hurts receivers with them if it's value. But I think we can't put any more week 14 guys who aren't correlated.
Agreed.
So we got.
I'm not crazy about any of the Eagles wide receivers still left now. So.
Yeah, my buddy's been pushing me almost every draft as Rager falls, and I'm like, I just don't know if he's any good.
Me either. And he goes late enough where I've definitely taken some shots, but I always thought he was a boom bust prospect coming in, and everything we've seen so far makes me think he might be a bust. Here goes Jonnu.
Yeah, well, we couldn't take him anyway.
Oh, he's another week 14 or week 13. Yeah. And we're still. You got the queue pulled up? Okay. Any running backs you'd consider at this next turn?
I'm gonna put some in the queue. Just give me a sec. I'm a little worried about the guy I just put in 14. There's a guy that I like, but he's a week 14 buy, so I'll throw him in the queue in 15 just so you can see him. He's one of my favorites.
Let's see.
I don't mind, him.
Yep.
I don't mind that guy.
Yep.
And I don't mind that guy.
Yeah, 15's not a guy I take very often. 14 I like.
17 is, I think, the best value at the position right now, late.
You mean
people?
Is it 16 now?
He's 16 now.
Yep, I agree. I stopped drafting him for a while there, but I'm back on him.
Yeah, we might end up having to take 5 again now.
Maybe.
But let's see. Well, my point is, what matters most to me is at this point is just taking the best players.
Yep.
and making some core. In other words, if there's some really stupid values that make it to us.
Yep.
Like I love. Oh, he just went. As the words were coming.
Murray?
Oh no, he's still there. No, number 8. No, I'm worried a little bit about Murray with Freeman on the team.
Yeah, I saw there was some story in The Athletic that Murray could be a cut candidate.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't
big cap
see
number.
it, but I think Freeman's pretty close to done. But
I was going to say.
it just puts that little bit of worry in my mind.
Yep.
And he's not that much better than some of the other guys. I think
Right,
it's
yeah,
I think it's a no-brainer if 1 or 2 make it back to us.
Yeah, we talked about 2 on Discord. I'm not as high on him as you are.
Okay, all right, I remember that.
Yep. Well, there goes one. There goes Gronkowski. Yeah, there's a couple tight ends that I don't mind that you don't have in that queue. I do think we want to get.
Throw them in. If you like them now, throw them in. We're late. And guys you like, throw in. I could have missed them. Even if I didn't, we should at least consider them.
Yep. There's one.
You are up next.
I'm not passing on number 7 if he makes it, by the way.
I'm all in. Love him. I'm trying to get the other guys at Draftsharks to let me bump them up the rankings even higher.
Now you are on the clock.
All right, so we're taking Rondell Moore.
Yes, we are. We got the two rookie Moores. I love it.
And I think we got to take Cole Kmet. I know you don't love him.
Okay.
The other tight end that's in there is another week 13 bye, third guy on the same team.
Yeah. And then even the other 2 tight ends I added at the bottom, they're 14 and 13 back. Yeah, you're right. All right, this will be my first Cole Kmet share. My very first.
All right.
I'm in. I got some exposure.
I think he's a bet. He's a bet on talent.
I mean, you think he's that good? I don't know. Kind of think he's just a guy. But
bit after our talk. So you did have an effect on me, but I just I don't believe in Jared Cook really. Zach Ertz I watched the other day. He just doesn't look like himself anymore. Hooper, you've got 3 other 2 other tight ends there.
Yep. Yeah. Plus he's another week 13 bye. That'd be our 4th. So Ertz is a guy I was going to mention him as a possibility super late just because we have Jalen Hurts. And if Ertz does stick around in Philly,
3rd tight end.
Yep, 3rd tight end. So I guess I wouldn't take him next turn even, but if he's still there at the turn after that, I might consider it. So we are
the guy that's in at number 11 now. He was definitely on the field with the role that we think he was going to have.
Yep.
I really, really think he would make it good. I think, we got to look at, wow, man, it's a long way till we get back.
Yep.
We still have some weaknesses on this team.
I like 11 more than 10.
All right.
I think 10 is, you're hoping 10 is what 11 already is,
I don't know, man. Part of what made what's now 10 was the quarterback that fuck it. We're talking about Gio Bernard and James White. And I think both of them are good.
Yep.
Boy, Rashad Penny went early too.
That the guy I just added at the bottom there, number 11. He's gonna be in the mix still. He's not gonna do what he did last year.
He can't do what he did last year because he killed all my teams by opting out.
Oh no, I'm talking about the guy beneath him that I just added.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I have almost none of him, so this would be a
Either,
good
but
chance for me to take him.
I don't have
Yeah,
much either.
I just wasn't convinced that they weren't going to phase him out, but it doesn't look like they're going to.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay, I think we grab one of those backs at this next turn. And then is this the spot for there's
Yeah.
a quarterback. Yeah, he's the guy at 1. I would love to get him.
Yeah. But we
Yep.
need another quarterback regardless.
Yep.
So I'm throwing in.
Shit, we can't take one. He has the same buy as Hurts.
I don't. Oh, you know what? Then we're gonna have to take a third.
I mean, there's
Oh man, we really this is a weird draft. We're gonna have to stick with 4 running backs.
I'm totally fine with 4. Yeah. These bye weeks are giving us trouble for sure.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
All right.
And also we're running into a situation where guys are going, this is not a normal draft board.
What do you mean?
Well, normally there's more quarterbacks, there's more tight end. There's a pretty good. I told you that this was a pretty good room.
Yep.
And you see, it's almost more like a football guy's draft where everyone's going to get their guy, and there's not much value.
Yep.
So,
I mean, we don't need to take the guy at 1.
No, I think the guy who's 3rd in the queue, if you go to that position, fits. And that was my only hesitancy on Elijah Moore, but we did the same thing with Rondale Moore where we took our guy. Now we're sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fabulous wide receivers. You know what? I think this could be a 7 wide receiver team.
It could be.
I don't make too many of those, but I mean, we are loaded at wide receiver.
Sure are. So you're thinking, oh shit, McKissick just went.
I'm thinking we might end up going 3, 4, 7, 14, 7. No. We'll still get an 8th wide receiver probably.
So 3, 4, 8, 3, something like that.
3, 4, 8, 3. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, the quarterback I just queued up at 7 there is an option as a stack.
We don't have anybody with him.
Zach Wilson?
Yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, all right. Yep. So,
all right. I'm fine with him if he makes it. The guy who's in 6 now.
Yeah, I was even thinking about waiting another turn on him. I still
they'll all be gone. They'll all be gone another turn. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
we got to get one now.
Oh yeah, 1 for sure. But if we're taking 3, I still like the guy at the top of the queue. If we're taking 3 of them.
Oh, well, the guy you like won't make it back. But I think we need to go.
Up next.
I think we go quarterback. He went.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
All right. So let's take Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Now you are on the clock.
And James White just went. Shit. So you like
now
Darnold?
You are on the clock.
I think Philip Lindsay is the best choice. I mean, he was going a lot earlier in drafts today. But if you want Damian Williams instead of Phillips, instead of Lindsay,
no, I'm not high on Damian Williams. I'm good with it. Let me just make sure there's no one else I missed here.
No.
Yeah, no, I like Philip Lindsay. Yeah, he outsnapped David Johnson pretty handily, but the starters.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a hard signal. But it did look like he was the first down back, and David Johnson was the 3rd down and goal line guy.
Which would not shock me at all if that's the case.
No. So, well, in that way, they could hope to keep David Johnson fresh.
Yep.
All right. Let me get some names in there. He's a week 14, but I just threw somebody in. Who do you think wins the New Orleans job?
I still think it's Jameis, but I'm much less confident than I was a month ago.
See,
I mean,
I think it's the other guy.
Taysom. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very likely that they both end up starting games this season. I don't think either of them's gonna play all 17. Right. So,
but when Winston plays, you're gonna have Taysom's still gonna be in the mix.
Oh yeah, Taysom's gonna be a much better fantasy option when he's in there than Jameis will be when he is. I mean, Taysom's gonna be a top 10 fantasy quarterback games he starts and finishes.
All right, see if there's any names that you want to throw in.
Yep.
I don't love this draft for a CMC draft, but
I'm pretty happy actually.
All right.
I'm pretty happy. Yeah.
Would have been a little happier if quarterback had gone better, and tight end is meh.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, those are the spots I don't mind being weaker at. You know, the 1C spots. I think we're really strong at running back and wide receiver.
Yes.
Right. So I mean, so yeah, I'm open to taking a third tight end and a third quarterback here.
Although there's some running backs that I threw in there, wide receivers I threw in there that are going to be hard to pass.
I love 6. I love there he goes, Brian Edwards. Yep.
Yeah, there's no way he was making it back.
Yeah.
I've got about 20% Brian Edwards, so
yeah,
right there with you, buddy.
Yeah, I think I'm even higher than that. His ADP is creeping up. Yeah.
Well, when you have 25 drafts, it's a lot easier to get. You know, when I was at 25 drafts, I had, a significant amount of. I was in the 35s and 40s with a couple guys. Yeah, but I knew I was going to do a lot, so I didn't worry. Like I had something like 30% T. Higgins out of my first 10 or 15 drafts. Mm-hmm. And now where am I at with T. Higgins now? I haven't drafted him in like a month and a half. I only have 11% now. He was one of my most owned guys. But where I have him, I've got him at a 2-round discount.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I don't do as many drafts as you, so I really only use exposure as like a final tiebreaker. If I'm really 50-50 on 2 guys, then I'll go check my exposures and go with the guy I'm lower on. But that's really it. Because I don't feel like I do enough drafts to be worrying about it as much as someone like you who's doing 100.
Correct. It's a different animal.
Yep.
And that's also how I got in trouble last year.
Sure.
I wasn't worrying about it, and then I made a few bad calls and had Damian Williams opt out, and all of a sudden.
So do you have any interest in the guy I just added at the very bottom? I think he fits this team. You said no?
You know what? I would be willing, but here's the issue. There's a new thing now that they're talking about sex trafficking for him.
Oof,
I just don't think he plays.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one. Where'd that come from?
Let me see if I can find it, and I'll put it in your. My partner Billy sent it to me.
I'm sure everyone knows who we're talking about, but Deshaun Watson. Before you said that, I thought he was 50-50 to play this year.
I'm gonna read it to you. Amy Dash, she's verified. She goes, breaking: human trafficking unit is reportedly heading up subpoenas on Deshaun Watson case per @Mark Berman Fox 26. This is something I discussed early on in this case on Odd Couple FSR. Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, FS1. If true, there's possibility of trafficking prostitution charges. That kind of scared me off.
Yep, I see that. Well, I see it. It was also from 2 days ago, and the fact that
we haven't heard much more about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a gamble. There's a chance we're taking.
But I think number one is far less of a gamble, and has not as obvious. But I don't think there's any way that Deshaun Watson plays 16 games.
Mm-hmm.
And
Malcolm Brown. I forgot about Malcolm Brown. I gotta get him up our rankings higher. Yeah, that's okay.
I'm thinking 1 and 2.
2, I have none of. You like him? I mean, they didn't throw their tight ends at all last year. I like.
Yeah,
what about?
He's in Carolina now, and he would give us. He fits with Darnold, and we need a third tight end. And there's, I mean.
Now you are on the clock.
Jesus, we just got sniped.
There goes Taysom.
Wow.
We could go Goff. We could go.
Goff. I don't like Goff.
I don't either. We could go. You know what? I think Dan Arnold is a definite. And now I'm willing to take Deshaun Watson if you want him.
Okay, if you
know
give me
what?
Watson,
I think I like Mac Jones more though.
Oh, he's another bye week 14 though.
Yeah.
The other reason I like Watson is our 2 quarterback buys are 14 and 13. So if Watson does play, I think it's going to be the second half of the season. So at least we'd have him, theoretically, while those other 2 guys are on bye.
Let's
15 seconds
let's
left.
do it. Watson and Arnold
on the clock.
Deal. My first Arnold share as well.
He did show some passing game chops.
I liked him when he was in New Orleans.
My partner loves him.
Yeah.
I don't, but it does give us a Darnold to Arnold connection.
There you go.
And
I think the Panthers tight ends combined for like 40 targets last year.
Yeah, well,
that's my concern.
I agree.
Thomas there.
But the one thing I like about Arnold, when he does catch one, it's downfield.
Yep, that is true.
So for running back, I just threw a guy in 3.
Whew.
There's another running back to consider. I'm just throwing out names to consider.
Yeah, that's fine.
Point.
What about the guy I just threw in there? I like him. He's easily my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you love 6.
Yeah, but I'm okay with.
There's actually some names I don't mind here.
But now I'm going to throw in some wide receivers too.
Well, this is going to be our last pick.
The guy that I just threw in 13, I love.
Let's see.
14, I love.
I think we go running back here. Because we're still only at 4 with Philip Lindsay as our 4th.
If there's one that we like.
I mean, there's 4 or 5 that I would be happy with. Okay. I do love 13. 13 is one of my highest owned players, which is probably not smart, but I keep taking him at the very end.
Well, look, this team is going to come down to McCaffrey.
Sure.
And then every week, Miles Sanders or Swift, and then those wide receivers. I mean, that's what this team's going to come down to. I think that, whoever we take, I want to have upside. That's why I like 2. I'm taking the tight end out. Not taking a 4th.
I still like 9 more than 2.
9? You mean 8? 8 more than 1?
Yes, 8 more than 1. Even if 8 ends up elsewhere. He might end up elsewhere, but even then I think he gets a shot.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But that fits what I'm talking about talent.
Yeah, upside. Yep. But actually, my favorite guy still there is 3.
Ugh,
No?
such a jag. He really is.
Yeah, well, he is, but it's about the offense.
Here's the
And I
thing.
think
Here's the thing. Every time that team is not afraid to go out and get somebody. They brought in McCoy. They brought in who did they bring in last year?
Bell, Le'Veon Bell.
Bell. I mean, I just I want a guy who has a chance to be the guy.
That's definitely a good point. I also think the Chiefs kind of like him though. I mean, he played a big role for them in the playoffs.
He did. But I don't think he gets above 10, 11, 12 carries, even if CEH goes down.
Yeah, that's fair.
There goes my boy Pringle.
Yep, someone's listening. Someone new.
See, I like 7 more than 2, simply because I have none, and it's really sneaky.
I like 6 too. It seems like
he was my favorite tape, second favorite tape coming out the year. He's good. Can't take, but he did. I saw him just now. He seems to have lost something.
You mean in the first preseason game?
Yeah, he doesn't seem. The thing I noticed about him coming out is no one hit him. Mm-hmm. The first guy who would go to tackle him always missed.
Yeah, he's had a lot of injuries. That's been his issue, obviously. So maybe
I'll also throw in this guy at 11. And
what did he do in their first preseason game? I haven't caught up on all of them yet.
He was the starter, and then the guy that is going 15 rounds earlier played more. What's his name didn't play? The guy that came over from the other team.
Yeah, it's Evan Coleman. I was going to ask. Yeah. I like 2 and 7, and then 6 too. 2, 6, and 7.
13 is really interesting if you want to shoot for a home run.
Is he 12 now?
No.
You are up next.
Oh, I see who you just added. Yeah, I mean he's a
now you are on the clock.
I don't think he has any value if Mixon stays healthy.
I'm okay with Darrell Williams if you want him.
I'm happy with Darrell Williams, Justin Jackson, or Sony Michel. And I'd probably rank them Williams, Michel, Jackson.
I'm going to flip a coin between
this is how the pros
Darrell Williams and Sony Michel. You call it in the you call which one is which in the air.
All right, Williams is heads.
It's heads.
Darrell Williams, baby. He's good. He's good on bye week, right? 12. Yeah, he's good. We're good.
All right, that's our draft. You can follow Mr. Smola at hold on, let me get back to StreamYard to Jared Smola DS. So we have some other news, don't we, Jared, about the regular season?
Yes, Todd's going to be joining us every single week on our DFS podcast with me and Matt. We're gonna get to argue. We're gonna be talking DraftKings and FanDuel. I think Todd's gonna be bringing a lot of his I guess optimizer skills. Can we call it that?
Yeah, I'm not better at the opto.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of what Todd's going to bring, that and the tournament strategies, because I'm definitely better at cash games. I'm looking to get better at tournaments. I think Todd's going to help me out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm big on is exposure, and that's where being best ball. What helped me be better at DFS was realizing what made me good at best ball applied.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then and the optimizer helps you with that as well. But the other thing is that I'm really a big believer in is, leverage and leveraging ownership and, getting ownership from a few reputable sites. We're going to be recording on Friday, so we're not going to have the best ownership, but I can teach you strategies for DFS, about how I kind of look at things when I'm making a decision on how much to own of a player if I'm making 100 lineups and someone's going to be 15% owned, it's rare that I want 15% of a guy, right? Typically I will either go half or 2 or 3x. Very few people I want to be even weight on. If the optimizer makes some random guy even weight, that's fine. But what I mean is the core plays of the week, I want to have leverage, right? I want to have leverage on the field. Like if I have one of my I'm only going to pick 5 or 6 quarterbacks, maybe 7 most weeks. And that way, every quarterback that I have, I can figure out a way to be, except for maybe the highest owned guy. Let's say the highest owned guy is Kyler Murray and he's going to be 20% owned. I might have 10% Kyler. I still have some good Kyler exposure, but I will be 2x to 3x on all of the other quarterbacks that I play, because there's nothing more frustrating than, playing a guy and you're right on him and he goes nuts and you're even with the field. And you're even with the field, right? So now it's just pure hope. Anyway, Jared, that's the kind
of stuff you'll get on the DFS podcast this season with Todd on Draftsharks.
Yep. I'll still be doing something with 1 week season. It'll be early in the week. With Hilo, we'll be doing a recap show. And then toward the end of the week, we'll be doing this with Jared. I've been doing more and more with the Draftsharks. In fact, I've got a couple. I got to get with Adam and get these scheduled. I'm going to be doing a couple for their Discord live drafts just like this to do some teaching. And I'm stoked about working with you guys.
I'm stoked to have you. I've learned a lot about best ball roster constructions and exposures from you, so I'm excited to learn and get better at DFS.
Well, and I always like having a guy or two around me who are good at projections, right? That's not my skill set, right? Yep. I don't have either the time, energy, or patience. Now, if you said to me, like a couple times I was arguing with Bill, like one guy I was arguing about was Josh Jacobs. And I was like, yeah, but he's gonna, he had 270 carries. Let's say Drake takes a little more, and then there's the extra game. He's still going to get 250 carries. And then Dwayne McFarland, who is good at projections, gave his Josh Jacobs projections, and I was almost exactly where Dwayne was. So it's not like I can't do it, but it's just not something that I have the time or I'm really good at. So I'm looking forward to, having someone who balances me as well.
Yeah, it should be a good team. And I think it'll be a good podcast. Matt brings the energy.
And me and Matt, me and Matt are going to fight like cats and fucking dogs.
I can't wait. I'm gonna bring the popcorn. Sit back with the popcorn.
I'm just going to look at him and go, who are you? No.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. Matt's a good guy. All right. So thank you. Thanks to the FFPC. Thanks to the tournament. And I don't think we got any comments. Nope. All right. That's going to do it, folks. We'll see you soon.